In this video, we're breaking down Section 34 of the Residential Purchase Agreement, Acceptance. This is one of the most important sections in the entire contract because this is where the seller officially accepts the buyer's offer and the agreement becomes legally binding. We'll walk 1. Step-by-step breakdown of how acceptance works. 2. Explain what makes an offer valid and when it becomes a binding contract. 3. Show how and when the contract is finalized and delivered. 4. Cover how the RPA treats entity sellers, trusts, LLCs, corporations, estates. 5. Demonstrate how to correctly document legally authorized signers so the contract is valid and enforceable. By the end of this video, you'll understand not only how a seller accepts an offer, but also the legal significance of each signature, acknowledgement, and checkbox in this section. Let's dive into Section 34, Acceptance, where a buyer's offer officially becomes a contract. Section 34A, Acceptance of Offer. In plain English, seller is saying, I own the property or have authority to sign, and I accept the buyer's offer and agree to sell on those terms, and I have read and received a copy of this agreement and authorize my agent to deliver a signed copy to the buyer. So Section 34A is where the seller officially accepts and the contract becomes binding, subject to any checked boxes below. 1. Seller's warrant. Seller warrants that seller is the owner of the property or has the authority to execute this agreement. Seller is promising they either own the property or have legal authority to sign for the owner, example, trustee, executor, LLC manager. 2. Seller accepts the terms. Seller accepts the above offer and agrees to sell the property on the above terms and conditions. Seller is saying, I agree to all terms in the offer, including price, timelines, contingencies, and addenda. 3. Seller acknowledges receipt and delivery. Seller has read and acknowledges receipt of a copy of this agreement and authorizes agents to deliver a signed copy to buyer. 1. Seller confirms they received and read the entire agreement and allow their agent to deliver the signed acceptance to the buyer/buyer's agent. 2. That delivery is what makes acceptance effective. 3. Seller acknowledges receipt and delivery. Seller has read and acknowledges receipt of a copy of this agreement and authorizes agents to deliver a signed copy to buyer. 1. Seller confirms they received and read the entire agreement and allow their agent to deliver the signed acceptance to the buyer/buyer's agent. 2. That delivery is what makes acceptance effective. Section 34B, Entity Sellers. This section mirrors 33B, but on the seller side. It's used when seller is not an individual person. There's a checkbox, Entity Sellers. Note, if this paragraph is completed, a Representative Capacity Signature Disclosure, RCSD, is not required for the legally authorized signers designated below. So, if you complete 34B, you don't also need a separate RCSD for the seller. Section 34B, 1 non-individual, entity, sellers. Defines entity sellers as trusts, corporations, LLCs, probate estates, partnerships, anyone holding power of attorney or acting as another type of entity. Anytime the seller is a trust, LLC, corporation, or estate, we must complete this entity section properly. Section 34B, 2 full entity name. Here you write the complete legal name of the entity. For a trust, the full trust name, e.g., John Doe and Jane Doe Revocable Trust dated January 1st, 2020. For probate, full estate name plus case number if needed. This line tells escrow and title exactly who the seller of record is. Section 34B, 3 contractual identity of seller. Says that for purposes of the agreement, when the short name described here is used, it will be deemed the full entity name. Examples: trust may use John Doe, trustee, or the simplified trust name, but it legally refers to the whole trust. Probate may use John Doe, executor, or estate of John Doe, which equals the full probate identity. Why it matters: it lets the contract use a shorter label while still tying it back to the full legal entity you wrote in, too. Section 34B, for legally authorized signer. Connects again to Section 32, legally authorized signer. A. states that the agreement is being signed by a legally authorized signer in a representative capacity, not as an individual. It directs you to paragraph 32 for rules about proof of authority, etc. B. You list the names of the legally authorized signers. Key point: here we identify exactly who has authority to sign for the trust, LLC, or estate so that buyer, brokers, escrow, and title know which signatures they need. Section 34C. Seller acknowledges pages. The RPA has 17 pages. Seller acknowledges receipt of, and has read and understands, every page and all attachments that make up the agreement. Same idea as 33C, but on the seller side, seller is confirming they received, read, and understand all 17 pages plus attachments. When the seller signs, they're not just signing one page, they're taking responsibility for the entire 17-page contract and all addenda. 34D, Seller Signature, S. This is where the seller actually accepts by signing. For each seller, you'll see 1. Signature line. Signature by underscore 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 date. Underscore 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 2. Printed name of seller. The legal name of the seller, individual or entity. 3. Optional checkbox and line. Printed name of legally authorized signer. Underscore 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 title, if applicable. Underscore 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 underscore. How to fill it. 1. Individual seller. Signature by seller signs. Printed name of seller. That person's name. Leave the legally authorized signer box unchecked. 2. Entity seller. Trust/LLC/ etc. Printed name of seller. Full entity name. Check the box and print. Name of legally authorized signer, e.g., John Doe, trustee. Title, if applicable, trustee, manager, executor, etc. If there are more than 2 sellers or signers, use, if more than 2 signers, use additional signature addendum, car form essay. Offer not accepted, box at the bottom you'll see, offer not accepted, underscore 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 / underscore 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 no counter offer is being made. This offer was not accepted by seller underscore 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 date. Seller's initials underscore 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 underscore. What it does. 1. Allows seller to formally indicate they are not accepting the offer and they are not sending a counter. 2. Seller dates and initials this line. This is optional. Remember 33A. Seller has no obligation to respond. But using this line provides clear documentation in the file that the offer was presented. The seller chose not to accept or counter.